You think skipping dinner makes you disciplined? Try starving for a few days and watch your body start eating itself like a confused zombie buffet. See, hunger isn't just an empty stomach, it's your entire system slowly turning against you. Hormones riot, your brain gets dramatic, and your muscles start packing their bags first. It's not pretty, but it's fascinatingly terrifying. Because when food runs out, your body doesn't just quit. It adapts, mutates, and sacrifices whatever it must to survive, even if that means you. So grab a snack, trust me, you'll want one, and let's count down 9 disturbing things that happen when you starve. By the end, you'll never look at fasting the same way again. Number 9, the hunger hormone riot. It starts small, you skip a meal, maybe you're busy, maybe you're cleansing. Then, a few hours later, you're not just hungry, you're mad. Suddenly, every sound is annoying, every person is suspicious, and that co-worker chewing chips sounds like a war crime. That's your body releasing ghrelin, the hunger hormone. Normally, it gently reminds you to eat, but when food doesn't come, ghrelin levels spike, and your brain goes into panic mode. This hormone triggers the hypothalamus, the part that controls appetite, emotion, and stress, turning your calm, civilized self into a growling, hangry caveman. Scientifically speaking, your blood sugar drops, dopamine tanks, and cortisol, the stress hormone, floods in. The result, you become irritable, impatient, and ready to fight a sandwich for its life. Researchers have found that even mild fasting can alter your emotional control. People literally perform worse on empathy and focus tests when hungry. So if you've ever snapped at someone for asking a simple question before lunch, congratulations, you've experienced a mini hunger riot. Creepy part. Your brain isn't asking for food, it's demanding survival. So the next time you think you're just a little hungry, remember, it's not you talking, it's ghrelin, whispering, feed me, or else. Number 8, mood meltdown. You've officially entered the hanger zone, that cursed combo of hunger and anger, where the smallest inconvenience feels like a personal attack from the universe. Someone breathes too loud rage, you drop your phone, existential crisis. Suddenly, life itself just feels pointless. Here's why your brain is a high-maintenance diva that runs almost entirely on glucose, simple sugar from food. When you stop eating, those glucose reserves crash and your neurons lose their favorite snack. Without steady fuel, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic and emotional control, starts to shut down. Meanwhile, your amygdala, the brain's little panic button, takes over. Translation, the smart, reasonable part of you goes offline, and the drama queen part grabs the mic. Scientists actually tested this. In one study, hungry participants were asked to do tasks while being mildly annoyed. They got angry faster, performed worse, and reported that even neutral faces looked hostile. Basically, hunger makes the world look like it's picking a fight with you. The brain also dumps cortisol, the stress hormone, into your bloodstream, while serotonin and dopamine, your happy chemicals, start dropping. The result is a cocktail of irritability, sadness, and restlessness that feels exactly like emotional burnout. Long story short, when your brain is starving, it doesn't just say I'm hungry, it rewrites your entire personality. That's why monks train for years to fast peacefully, because the average person, after 24 hours without food, turns into a moody philosopher questioning the meaning of life and glaring at anyone who eats within sight. So if you ever find yourself crying over an ad for fried chicken or yelling at your reflection for existing, don't worry. You're not broken. You're just running on low blood sugar and pure rage. Number 7, the breath turns toxic. At first, you might think you're doing great, no food, no problem. You're light, focused, maybe even proud. But then someone leans in and winces. Congratulations, your body just switched to survival mode, and your breath now smells like expired fruit salad and battery acid. Here's the creepy science behind it. When your body runs out of carbs to burn for energy, it starts breaking down fat instead. This process creates chemicals called ketone bodies, mainly acetone, acetoacetate, and beta-hydroxybutyrate. Sounds fancy. Right, until you realize one of them is literally the same compound used in nail polish remover. And yes, it escapes through your lungs. That's why people on long fasts, extreme diets, or starvation often develop what's called ketone breath. It's a sharp, metallic, or sweet rotten smell like fruit gone bad in a chemistry lab. It's not dangerous at first, but it's your body screaming, "We're out of normal fuel burning fat now." In mild fasting, this is considered a natural backup system, your body adapting to survive. But when prolonged, ketone buildup leads to ketoacidosis, where your blood becomes too acidic. That's when things get dangerous: nausea, dizziness, confusion, even organ stress. Psychologically, people often report feeling a weird clarity around this stage, as if their mind gets sharper while their body is falling apart. That's because ketones can temporarily fuel the brain when glucose runs low, giving you a false sense of control while your system is literally digesting itself. So yeah, that detox breath isn't your body cleansing, it's your metabolism waving a white flag. You're not glowing from fasting, you're just slightly fermenting. Number 6, muscles start to vanish. At this stage, hunger stops being just a feeling, it becomes an autopsy in slow motion. After about 48 to 72 hours without food, your body has already burned through all its glycogen, the quick access energy stored in your liver and muscles. With no sugar left to burn, it starts looking for other fuel sources. The first victim, you. Your body begins a process called catabolism, where it breaks down muscle tissue to extract amino acids, which are then converted into glucose to keep your brain alive. It's a brutal trade. Your body chooses full over strength. That's why prolonged fasting often leaves you shaky, weak, and lightheaded. Your body is literally digesting itself to survive. The disturbing part is how quiet this happens. There's no sudden pain, no warning. You just start to feel heavier when you move, slower when you think. Even breathing can feel tiring because your diaphragm muscles, the ones that pull air into your lungs, are also breaking down. In extreme starvation, muscle loss becomes visible, your limbs thin, your posture collapses, and small movements start to feel like labor. What's left is a haunting biological paradox. Your body keeps sacrificing itself just to keep the lights on upstairs. Scientists call this autophagy, which literally means self-eating. Normally, it's a useful process for recycling damaged cells. But in starvation, it goes too far. The body starts recycling everything. So when you can't lift a cup or steady your hands after days without food, it's not weakness, it's survival. Your brain is still running. Your muscles are the price. Number 5, the brain slows down. When food disappears, your brain is the first to notice and the first to suffer. The human brain consumes about 20% of your daily energy, most of it coming from glucose. But when starvation sets in, that supply vanishes. Neurons, the cells responsible for thinking, memory, and focus, start to misfire. The brain, in a desperate act of self-preservation, switches into low power mode, cutting non-essential functions to conserve energy. You begin to feel it subtly. At first you can't focus, your reactions slow, and familiar tasks feel strangely confusing. It's like trying to run a high-end computer on a dying battery light still on, but nothing moves right. Over time, the effects deepen. Cognitive fog sets in. You might forget simple words mid-sentence or lose your train of thought entirely. Studies show that even mild malnutrition can reduce attention span and decision-making accuracy by up to 30%. In longer starvation periods, brain scans reveal a literal shrinkage of grey matter volume. Your brain physically starts to waste away. Your emotional state isn't spared either. Neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which depend on amino acids from food, start to deplete. The result, depression, irritability, and an eerie emotional numbness. You stop feeling hunger not because it's gone, but because your brain no longer has the resources to care. It's a haunting irony. The organ that drives your survival instincts begins to fade first, and when your thoughts start to blur, It's not just exhaustion, it's your brain quietly powering down, one neuron at a time. Number 4, hallucinations and euphoria. After several days without food, something strange happens. Hunger stops feeling like hunger. Instead, your mind begins to drift into a surreal, dreamlike state. People who have fasted too long often report hearing voices, seeing patterns or lights, or even feeling a euphoric clarity as if they've transcended their body's needs. It's not enlightenment, it's biochemistry on the edge of collapse. When glucose and essential nutrients disappear, the brain struggles to maintain balance. To counter the pain and panic of starvation, it begins releasing dopamine and endorphins, the same chemicals tied to pleasure and reward. This temporary chemical spike tricks you into feeling calm, focused, even elated, while your body is, in truth, breaking down. This phenomenon explains why some starving individuals describe a sense of peace before fainting, or why in extreme famine cases, survivors recall vivid hallucinations of food, people, or divine visions. The brain, deprived of energy, starts to blur the boundary between perception and imagination, creating sensory illusions just to cope. Scientifically, this state is similar to psychosis induced by sleep deprivation or drug use. Regions like the temporal and parietal lobes responsible for auditory and visual processing begin firing erratically. You might hear a voice whisper encouragement or see a flash of color in the dark. It feels almost spiritual, but it's not transcendence, it's survival theater. Your starving brain is performing one last illusion, masking agony with false bliss. Number 3, organ shutdown mode. When starvation deepens, your body makes a terrifying decision. It begins shutting down non-essential systems to keep you alive just a little longer. The liver, kidneys, and heart all start to slow their function. The liver stops processing toxins efficiently, the kidneys conserve every drop of water, and the heart beats sluggishly to save energy. Your blood pressure drops, your hands and feet turn icy, and your skin takes on a pale, almost translucent tone, the body signal that it's entering winter mode. At this point, the body is prioritizing survival over performance, muscles weaken further, digestion nearly stops, and even breathing becomes shallower to reduce calorie expenditure. It's like your entire metabolism turns into a hibernation program, one final effort to stretch every remaining bit of fuel. The science behind this is brutal but precise. When glucose and fat reserves are gone, the basal metabolic rate, BMR, can drop by more than 40%. Hormones such as thyroid T3 plummet, while cortisol spikes, pushing the body into emergency conservation. But there's a price. Waste products start building up. The heart risks arrhythmia, and the brain, deprived of oxygen and nutrients, begins to fog. People in this stage often describe a strange calmness, like floating outside their body, unaware that their organs are quietly failing. It's the body's ultimate paradox. To survive starvation, it must slowly turn itself off. Number 2, the mind turns on you. Starvation doesn't just weaken your body, it rewires your mind. After several days without food, the brain becomes obsessed with one thing, finding something to eat. But when no food arrives, it starts to play tricks to cope with the agony. People in extreme hunger often report vivid food hallucinations, smelling bread that isn't there, hearing sizzling sounds, or dreaming they're sitting at a feast. It's not imagination for fun, it's the brain's desperate attempt to simulate reward when none exists. Neuroscience explains this cruel glitch. The hypothalamus, which regulates hunger, floods the mind with mixed signals. Dopamine circuits misfire, creating intense food cravings that blend with sensory illusions. You might taste salt, see plates of food, or even feel yourself chewing, but it's all in your head. This phenomenon was documented in real starvation experiments and survival stories. During World War II's Minnesota starvation experiment, participants began hoarding cookbooks, watching others eat for hours, and reporting dreams where they dined endlessly. Their brains had literally turned hunger into obsession. And that's the creepy part. The mind, once your ally for survival, becomes the tormentor. It starts whispering, showing, even rewarding you with fake food just to keep you going. But every illusion fades the moment you wake up, still starving. Number 1. Cannibalizing the self. At the final stage of starvation, the body stops waiting for food and turns inward for fuel. What begins as a survival mechanism becomes a slow act of self-consumption. Fat reserves vanish first, then muscle tissue, and finally, the organs themselves begin to break down to keep you alive just a little longer. This process, known as autophagy, is normally how your body recycles old or damaged cells, but during prolonged starvation, it spirals out of control. Your body starts digesting itself, the liver shrinks, the heart weakens, and the brain loses vital connections, causing hallucinations, delirium, and eventual loss of consciousness. Scientists describe it as a metabolic civil war, where every system fights to survive at the expense of another. Blood pressure crashes, body temperature plummets, and movements slow until even breathing feels like a decision. Real-life cases show how hauntingly methodical this process is. In survival records, explorers and famine victims often report a strange sense of calm near the end of the brain. Too weak to panic, releases endorphins as a final mercy. It's the body's way of saying goodbye to itself. Creepy, but true, the human body is both the prisoner and the executioner. When there's nothing left to eat, it eats you. Starvation isn't just hunger, it's a full-scale rebellion inside your body. Every organ, every cell turns against the others in a desperate bid to survive. What starts as a simple lack of food becomes a slow unraveling of everything that keeps you human. When food disappears, the body doesn't just give up, it adapts, mutates, and sacrifices itself piece by piece. It's a brutal reminder that our biology was built for survival, not comfort. So next time you skip dinner to detox, remember your body might start detoxing you first, because hunger doesn't wait quietly. It whispers, it burns, and eventually it devours.